going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate all the support and anybody that's been following along with us and staying up to date with us. I've got a lot of friends and family out there that's been hitting me up and talking to me about everything, and we're just getting started. So big shout out to those people. Another shout out would be to my wife, because this is the first video that I've taken on a new camera. She got me a new camera for Christmas. It was something that I had told her I wanted. I had mentioned a few times, and she went out of her way and spent the money to get me something like this. And if you know anything about that stuff, then you know it's not very cheap. Could have went with a GoPro or something like that, but why spend $300-400 on a new GoPro or something like that, or an action camera, whenever I can just get something professional grade, especially for in the future of things we want to film and you want good quality and things like that. So why not go ahead and take a big jump and do this? So big shout out to her for spending her money and doing something to support the channel, because she knows what we're doing and she knows what I've been working hard on and what the future plans hold. So thank you for doing that for me, babe. Just a quick update on the car. I haven't got to film a whole lot because I've really booked down and tried to get a lot done. My goal was to at least have the cage done and the floors done, possibly have interior back in the car before the first of the year, and we have reached that goal. I gotta give my brother, my little brother, he's been helping me out doing some stuff over the last couple of weeks. I haven't got to film a lot. I didn't get a lot of footage on what I was doing. I'll try to throw some things in this video if I can find it all and whatnot. It's been all kind of lost in the mix, but we did take a few videos and things like that. But it was kind of rushed, and I just felt like I talked a lot throughout the whole video and didn't really show progress that I had put together about a week or so ago. So I talked to him about it, kind of scratched that. He agreed. I don't want to talk everybody to death. And I'll try not to talk everybody to death in this video, because I want to show the progress and things that we've done. But like I said, the goal was to have at least the cage and the floors done, and the interior back in it, at least most of it. I know I still have to wire the car, and that's probably gonna be the next step. A lot of the interior has to come back out. Some of it does anyway, to run the wiring and stuff like that. I just really wanted to mock everything up, and of course I had to cut a few pieces of plastic and things that go in the car. The carpet had to be cut a little bit, but I'm very happy with it. The people that have seen it already, I think I put a post on Instagram. If you're not following Instagram, get on there, Team Sharp Racing. Follow us, and I don't post a lot, but I try to post pictures when I can on what's going on, maybe new products we get or any kind of progress that I've made. But in a nutshell, everything that has come together over in the last couple of weeks have really satisfied me. I'm pretty excited about everything, and now it's starting to look like a car again, on the inside at least. I've had a few people say, "Oh man, you need to start doing some body work or this and that," and really I don't care about body work. Knowing me, the car will run down the track the way it looks, or on the street. I don't care. I will say I took a big leap. Anybody that's watched the first video or two, my cousin, he was doing a lot of the welding for me, but he's been covered up. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's working hard. He's paying off some debt, and he's trying to buy a house. I don't want to bother him or bug him, so I took a big jump and pretty well taught myself how to weld. I did know some stuff about welding. I have done a little bit of welding as far as like tacking some things and small stuff, but doing something as serious as floorboards or any kind of sheet metal or roll cage, any kind of bars and stuff, I hadn't done any of that before, ever. So I learned something. It was a learning experience. Rule number one is look at your surroundings and know what's around you whenever you're going to be welding, because I almost burnt the car down. Well, I say burnt the car down, but if I can find the video, I was filming, and when I first started welding the hatch bars in, I was welding those, and there was a piece of paper towel or something and laying in the back floorboard, and a spark hit it, and it caught it on fire. I didn't notice it at first, and if I could find the video and put it in here, you'll see it start smoking, and then I don't know if you can kind of see the flames glowing or whatever, and then I finally noticed it. Freaked me the hell out. I was in shock. I was literally, the shot burning down flashed before my eyes. I was like, oh my god, I'm fixing to ruin everything. So luckily I had like a bottle of water sitting here on the toolbox, grabbed it, immediately extinguished the fire. But after that I was like, okay, I need to pay attention to what the hell I'm doing or what's around me. So if you are going to weld, make sure you know what the hell's around you so you're not burning anything up, because that literally scared the shit out of me. The welds weren't perfect. Some of them I grinded back down and redid. It's just all in a learning process. If you never welded before, just take that leap. If you have access to a welder or somebody that can loan you one, or you go over to their shop and they got spare metal or something, just take a leap at it. The only way you're going to know and learn is if you do it. And that's what I told myself one night. I was out here. I didn't have anything else going on. I didn't really have anything else to do. So I was like, you know what? I got some scrap metal. I've got the welder. Why not? Let's give it a shot. And I practiced for a couple of hours. Asked some questions to some guys that know how to weld, and I figured it out. I mean, if I didn't figure it out, I wouldn't be this far. So, like I said, no offense to my cousin, because I know he was the one that's supposed to do a lot of the welding and help me out with all of this and the build, but it's kind of like a burden off my chest, you know. That was one thing that I'd always want to do. I want to be a jack of all trades. I know how to do electrical. I know how to do plumbing. I know how to do construction. Done mechanic work for years, but I just never knew how to weld. I wasn't confident in my welding, and which I'm still not 100%. I'm not going to go out here and say, oh, just me welding the roll cage in this car, now I'm professional, I can go do whatever. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if I do have something I need to weld or need welded, I'm not afraid to try to jump on it and get it done. You know what I mean? So, kind of a pat on the back to myself, because without that, me taking that leap of faith and putting myself to the test and teaching myself, this would not be as far as it is right now. So, if you guys are out there and you want to learn how to do something, just go out there and do it. That's the only way you're going to get good at something. So, any more welding in the future, I know I'll jump on it, try to learn and do better, and get better as we go. I'll try to show you some of the welds. The cage is painted. I just did that over the very end of last week, or this week. Alright guys, I'm going to do something a little different on this one. Instead of just throwing some music in there and high speed and everything, just kind of walk you through some of the stuff I did. If you remember watching, I can't remember, it might have been the video before this, or one or two more before this, I can't remember. We had actually unboxed the tube notcher that you see there in the vise from Speedway Motors, and basically it's, I mean, a simple tool, very easy to use, self-explanatory, but without that, I think notching the tubes would be impossible, really, to at least get a good one, a good notch cut into the bar. You want to lube the shaft there up for the actual hole saw, and I always put a little bit of oil on the actual blades on the saw itself, just like you would do if you're using like a bandsaw or something like that. Using oil, helps lubricate everything. If you've ever done any kind of fab work or anything like that, it's not uncommon for people to be doing that kind of stuff. I think me cutting the big bar like that I had an issue with You see how I cranked down on it right there beforehand. It would just try to come loose on me. Wasn't really holding that bar in. I think a lot of it has to do. You see me holding it there to help stabilize it. I think that had a lot to do with it. I didn't have anything to hold up the other end to kind of brace it up. That was really the only issue that I had through the entire process of tubing or cutting the notches in the tubes. Um, I actually enjoyed it. It was actually fun being able to do that because I had never done it before. I mean, this is all a new experience to me doing this right here. So uh, I'm glad I invested in it because in the future, if I have to notch any tubes or if anybody needs some notching done, I could take care of that. I will say it does say or recommend using a corded drill. I have a corded drill, but the chuck on it just it wouldn't open enough, big enough for that actual rod itself. My DeWalt powerless or battery powered drill here was the only drill I had that would the chuck would open up big enough to fit onto that shaft. Uh, but it got the job done. I mean, it might have been a little faster if I did have a corded drill on it, but I mean, I can't complain too much because this one did pretty good. The DeWalt did pretty decent. Um, of course, I'm getting interrupted in my work. But see it go through there. And this is the actual center bar for the main hoop in the back. Um, Cutting the notches out of it. It was too long. I didn't film me actually cutting it. I actually cut it. I cut probably like maybe 3 inches off of it, 3 or 4 inches. I can't remember. And then of course it didn't have any, or it had notches on both ends, but the end that I had to cut off, I had to re-notch. So that's what I'm doing in this little section here. See, it turned out pretty decent. I would have never thought that I'd been doing something like that, honestly. And of course, back and forth, test fitting. I would rather not cut too much off, rather do little bits at a time. Because I'd rather not have to go try to find another bar and redo the whole thing. Um, you can tell that was kind of tight, and that's what I was shooting for. The less gap in the metal, the more better I felt about it anyway. This right here, I didn't want to set the saw back up and try to redo this. If you see you can barely see the line there. I'm not sure you can or not, but I took a marker and marked off what I thought needed to be trimmed. Instead of setting the saw and everything back up and trying to get it all centered and perfect, like I normally do, I just got the little um, grinder out and decided to just trim off that little bit that I needed, and it worked. It did great. Kind of a pain to get in some angles, but if you can tell, you noticed I'm using that tube notcher holder to hold the bar still for me. I couldn't figure out what that ringing sound was, but it was the bar, I think, after I took the grinder off of it, and it freaked me out a little bit. But yeah, I used the tube notcher to hold that bar in place for me. That's gonna definitely come in handy too in any kind of future work. I think I used it more of just doing that, just holding the bars for me while I trimmed, than I did actually cutting holes on the ends of the bars. So, but yeah, I didn't want to have to get the whole thing back out or set everything back up. So I just used this to trim everything little by little. Like I said, I'd rather use or cut a little bit at a time instead of cutting too much. and then having to either fill a huge gap with weld, which I don't think would be a very good idea if you can avoid it. Just, little bits at a time. It's very time consuming. You gotta have patience. Definitely gotta have some patience when you're doing this shit. But I think, you know, the way I was doing it here was probably the smartest thing. Especially not ever doing it before, and not ever doing something like this before. Um, but yeah, just trying to describe a little bit about what I'm doing. You can see I pretty well knew in my head about how much to take off. And if you've ever used one of those grinder tools before, grind tools, they will get away from you. I mean, they're no slouch. They will definitely take some metal away. So you actually got to take your time when you're doing that too, or else you're going to be taking too much off. So I'm just doing little passes at a time. Um, if you know anything about porting and polishing heads and stuff, I mean, they use tools like this to clean up ports and stuff on heads and take out some metal. Probably not something as aggressive as what I have on this one because it's a pretty aggressive bit. Um, but yeah, just trimming off there and kind of smoothing everything up, rounding some edges off. So we got the bar fitted in there. Just kind of tacking up right here, it looks like, if I remember correctly. Um, got it centered. If you can tell, I got my level up there. I'm OCD. I don't want to just slap this shit together and say, let's go. Um, I want it to be pretty good. So if anybody does get in there and they slap a level on something, they say, oh, damn, it does look pretty straight, or it is pretty straight. Uh, that's why I do that kind of stuff. I want to do it and do it right the first time. But just kind of tacking up here. That way I'm not worried about bumping or knocking something out or moving something off, all that mess. I will say that welding this part of the entire car was probably the hardest to me, honestly. Um, just, I'm not a very big guy, but at the same time, this was not very easy for me to maneuver around. As far as the backside, the front. Oh, that's probably the easiest part of the whole car was the fronts right there in my face. Just kind of hitting it where I needed to do it at or weld it at, and that was great. It's perfect. Um, but whenever it come to getting around the backside, I'm not claustrophobic, but I do not like tight places. Like I said, I'm not a very big guy, but I do have broad shoulders. Uh, just wasn't my cup of tea. Trying to fit my ass back there. So you can kind of tell. I think there's one part in here where I bumped my head with the helmet, and I just jerked the helmet off really fast right there. Yeah, you can tell I was getting kind of pissy already. I take the level and just kind of toss it. Get out of here. But I kept my cool throughout the process, honestly. You don't want to get upset whenever you're trying to concentrate and do something right. If you do, um, just walk away and come back to it. Which luckily I didn't ever have to walk away from it. I just kind of took my time and relaxed, and I wanted to get it done. Like I said, I booked down, and I was actually. It doesn't look like I'm in a hurry, but I'm actually in a hurry. I'm trying to get this done. Like that day was gonna be. I wanted the whole back done right there. and finished up. You can't really see in the video, but the pillar bars are in there, but I don't think they were finished. I think I had just like kind of mocked them up, just tacked them in there a little bit, just to hold them there. Because I mean, you don't want to weld everything at once. I know a lot of guys, and some research that I had done, they don't even go this far. They don't even weld half the shit I'm welding right now. They just tack all of this stuff together enough to hold it in place. So they're done fitting everything in the entire car. Then they go back and they weld every bit of it at once. I really didn't think about that until I was done. I was like, damn, you know, like what if I messed up? Then I had to cut a whole freaking weld back off, you know. I didn't really think about that. Next time, if I do another one, I would probably just tack up as much as I can. I wouldn't do any kind of solid welds until I was pretty much done fitting everything in there, just in case. I kind of took a risk on doing it this way, so I don't recommend doing that. Just tack everything that you can together, put all the pieces to the puzzle together, and then, you know, then you start laying your beads after that. But all in all, it was a great experience doing it this way. I'm not scared to tackle another one, although it wasn't the greatest thing or the funnest thing, but you know, it is what it is. I took a leap and made a jump, and I can honestly say that I'm pretty satisfied with the outcome. Alright guys, I'll show you the inside of this thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think it come together pretty good. Well, we got carpet. We got most of the interiors back in here. There's a little bit of the weld. Little focus, there you go. Like I said, leap of faith. It's not perfect. I did paint the roof black. It was that reddish overspray color from the factory, and I didn't like it, and I don't have a headliner for the car. I could probably fit one in it. I do have room, just a touch, to fit one in there, but I'm not really worried about that. Dash is in there, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be to put the dash back in it. I did have to trim a little bit to get it in there, of course, around the bars up here, but looks pretty good. No, I don't have the dash pad in it because that's probably going to be a little bit of a project trying to trim that up, but I'm not scared to hurt it because it looks like shit anyway. They make pretty decently cheap covers to put on them. I've seen that done before, so I may end up trying that after I get the dash trimmed up. I was thinking about talking to my dad about it, and he said use some cardboard, kind of make a template, in which I was thinking that already, so I may use a template and at least give me some kind of idea of what I've got to trim off and whatnot, so I'm not just pulling it in and out, fighting with it. I'm wanting to go with a Motion Raceworks steering column. This is the factory steering column. Probably going to end up putting one of those in here. I just put the steering wheel in here to mock everything up, make it look like a car again. I was kind of excited, but yeah, most of the interior is all in here. Carpet's in here. Carpet wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be to trim up, of course with the bars and everything in there, but it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with that. Console's in. Kind of been playing with the shifter in that area. Gonna try to finish it up probably within the next couple of days or so. If you know anything about a third gen, you know that's where the steering wheel, or not steering wheel, the stereo and your heater and AC controls and all that stuff go. I've seen some pretty rigged up stuff that people have done to put stuff there, so as far as switches and gauges and stuff, like sheet metal and diamond plate and all that stuff. I don't really care for that look. Thinking about some kind of carbon fiber look or something like that to put toggle switches, nitrous switches and things like that on there. But we'll worry about that when we start trying to wire up the car. Like I said, that was the next step I was wanting to try to work on is trying to get some wiring done. Got the battery at least holder right here. Thinking about putting it down here in this area. May have to fab up some kind of tray or some kind of bracket to hold a tray or something like that, because I'm not sure a battery stuff will fit all the way down in there, which I don't really want it to have to sit all the way down in there. So just something along right in here, and get it off of this. I'd rather it be down there kind of secluded, because there is a piece of plastic that covers this, and I would rather it be down there and hidden, try to hide all the wiring and things like that, which this piece, it comes off fairly easy if I ever have to mess with the battery or whatever. Making a lot of racket. Uh-oh. There's my future drag racer. But anyways, yeah, it's coming together good. If you will notice, I don't have the door bars in. I don't really want door bars right now. Hey, buddy. Hey. Can you go out there with it for a little bit until Daddy's done? But yeah, I don't really want the door bars in right now until they... I mean, I may end up putting them in before, but... before they... Hey, buddy. Go out there for a minute, okay? But anyways, yeah, I don't want the door bars in right now. It's kind of a pain to even get in the car with the seats in there, but I mean, it's not easy to get in a race car anyway when all that stuff's in there, but in the seats and whatnot. It's not a Cadillac. But if I can keep from putting door bars in for a little bit, I will. But it's not going to be hard to put them in. I'll just worry about that whenever the time comes. Buy the tabs for the seat belts, or safety harness, or whatever. They're weld on. I just take some paint off, bolt them in, or weld them on, and put the bolts in for them, whatnot. I actually already, I ordered them. They should be in within a few days. But that's pretty much the progress for now, guys. Like I said, we booked down really hard to get this thing going. The cage was kind of a pain. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Unless you've done one and know what you're doing. I've never put one in. It's all new to me. But now that I've done one, I know how it works. You know what I mean? So that's another one of those things. You get the experience, and you know how to do it again. I mean, they're all different, but at least on a third gen, I know how one goes in. I'm so happy about it, really. It looks really good. You guys, please let me know what you think about it and the progress that we've made. I will say, if you go putting a cage in, there's not a lot of room when it comes to welding across the tops. These are welded all the way across, believe it or not. The windshield is just setting back in here. I actually cut it out and took it out So the bars up here, they are welded all the way across the top. I had to take the windshield out and get in from here. It was not very easy, but I managed to get it done. If you can't weld the tops, I've been told that if you can't weld the tops, you can, I can't remember the diameter of the bar, but you can put angle bars in on any areas that you can't weld the tops. I'm not sure if that's frowned upon or not. I just know that from what I had researched and seen, that they will let that pass if you can get angle bar in there and you can't weld the tops. But these bars, they're all welded all the way across the tops. The way I did the back was, before the pillar bars were in, I tacked the hoop bar, I tacked it, and then the back wasn't welded yet. It wasn't tacked or anything, just the main hoop was tacked down to hold it in place. I cut the welds on it, or the tacks off of it, and laid the entire cage forward of what I had done. I laid it all forward, and it was just enough to give me some room to weld all the way across the tops on the back. So got that done, got that in there. That was kind of a progress, or a process and all in itself on that one, but got it in there, guys. It was a huge block off my chest that I was wanting to get done. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Like I said, get on our Instagram, Team Sharp Racing. Follow along with us on the build. It's little by little, but this stuff is not overnight kind of shit. So your support is greatly appreciated, and it's going to help this channel grow and keep pushing us forward. Appreciate it, guys.